Big week. We got UFC Fight Night from Abu Dhabi. I believe this is the first fight night in Abu Dhabi. Usually they do one event there per year, but now they're rolling into two events right now. And what a good card to bring it in. Headlined by, of course, Cory the Sandman Sandhagen, who we had on last week. If you haven't checked out that interview, make sure you got get on Pound for Pound on YouTube and you check that out. We got to spend a little bit of time with Cory and get to learn a little bit more about him. And like I said, Henry, he looks like an IT guy, but that's an IT guy that'll whip your ass in the office. So you definitely don't want to mess with a guy like that. But he's going to be taking on Umar Nurmagomedov, the amazing, the undefeated, very highly talented prospect that is looking to become the next contender in that bantamweight division.
Yeah, no, 100% Kush. I mean, first of all, I want to say that this is a very competitive fight, but the person that more likely going to have to make that adjustment right now, and I can tell, and I think you know this too, is the 5'11", the IT man is what you call him, because Umar Nurmagomedov has a lot of tools in his back pocket, and the biggest one that he has is called wrestling. Obviously, being coached by his cousin, Khabib Nurmagomedov. Did you like how I said that? Khabib. That's the way you're supposed to
I do
say it.
like it.
But he's fighting him. So that the question is could Umar? We all know that he's going to make the adjustments. Now, could a guy like Cory Sandhagen, bring forward everything else that kind of comes with it? Because as we know, Umar necessarily hasn't been tested. He has not been tested against a well-known 135 pound. But I will say this: he's been getting rid of people at 135 pounds, whether it's been submission, it's been knockouts, or if it's him being injured and just completely dominating one of his opponents as he did with his Kazakhstani opponent. But my biggest question on this main event and this fight card is, could the Sandman Cory Sandhagen adjust to those adjustments?
But Henry, I like what you said there. But don't you think that if a guy is not faced someone as dynamic as a Cory Sandhagen, won't you think that that's the guy that needs to kind of make the most adjustment? Because, like you said, you haven't seen him tested yet. Wouldn't you say that's the guy that needs to be able to be adaptable here and needs to adjust to what they're up against?
No, not really, man. The only
In the
reason why
court of law, Henry Cejudo, you are in court right now. Answer truthfully. Wouldn't you say that that's the man that needs to be adaptable and needs to make those adjustments so you can further understand whether he's able to deal with the upper echelon or not?
yeah, I would agree. But looking at Corey's last
I
fights,
rest
like,
my case, Your Honor.
no, no. I just think with Umar, he brings in something that nullifies everything, and it's called wrestling. I think it's simple. I think we've seen what a lot of these guys that are training under Khabib Nurmagomedov, and what is it that they're actually doing is they all develop great takedown entries and then good top control, and that could be it. I mean, it could be that new wave of you bring a little bit of that old school back. But I don't know, man. I like Corey, and I can tell like Corey's very very talented. Even though we've never fought before, I've always said the guy that I've always saw that is the biggest threat. Even when I was champion, I was like, it is Corey Sandhagen. So I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree. The Nigerian nightmare,
All
Niger.
right. No, I understand your point, and I get it. Having of good of a base of wrestling at that level, it's a great equalizer, and it definitely gives you that element of control for the most part. But the one thing that we are seeing right now is just kind of an evolution of the sport and guys being adaptable, guys being able to stop takedowns, even though they weren't necessarily from a takedown background. Look at a guy like George St. Pierre was taking down wrestlers, was able to beat wrestlers because he was able to grow in the sport and learn the little tricks of the trade. And that's what I see in a guy like Cory Sandhagen. I think he's making a lot of improvements. And like you mentioned yourself, he wrestled so much with Rob Font that the fight was even boring. So he does have a way to adapt to what's happening, what's taking place. But what I want to see, and I believe Umar is the ultimate test here because undefeated, young, strong, you don't know until you know. And in his mind, There's a reason he's undefeated, because he can't be stopped. And so when you have that level of confidence, you're going to be very, very hard to stop. And so yes, I believe Umar is going to be one of the toughest challenges that Cory has faced in recent times. But the thing here too is I want to see how Umar is able to adapt. I want to see how Umar is able. Yes, I know he has striking, but I want to see how you're able to adapt if you can't get your takedown. If your shots aren't landing and you do shoot and you can't take him down, I want to see how you adapt. I want to see that next. This is where the fighting becomes a chess piece here. I want to see how you change up in order to get to a guy like Cory Sandhagen if you can't take him down. And so, and I'm not saying he can't. Don't get me wrong, Henry. I know they're going to come. I know the rush is going to come for me. Don't come for me. I love Umar. I also love Cory Sandhagen. And I think this is a way more competitive fight than people necessarily think about because of what you said, Henry. Cory's got that, Umar's got that element of wrestling. And so I'm extremely intrigued. I can't wait to watch this fight. I think our next bantamweight contender is going to come out of these two fighters. And all I'm saying is don't doubt Umar's ability. Umar can come out there and he can show the world that, hey, he's ready for the world championships right now. And also, don't doubt Cory Sandhagen, because if anything, is he showed everybody after the Petr loss that he went back and done the homework and he's ready for that title. So I like the fight, but it's a fantastic, it's a pretty really good main card. Of course, the fight dropped out. We had another special fight, which would have been the Nick Diaz versus Vicente Luque that was supposed to be on this card as well. But that fight ended up dropping off, which kind of, yes, of course, it hurt the star power a little bit. But you've got our, what do we even call him right here? We've got our one-eyed just monster in this kid. And
Pause.
I mean,
Big
pause, big
pause.
pause, big pause. Yeah.
You
I
making
mean,
this show X-rated Kush. What's
I
up?
mean, I mean, and that's with no disrespect in any way. I mean, this kid is unbelievable. Well, not kid, grown man. He's 30 years old. I mean, unbelievable. His striking is dynamic, and the way that he's able to keep you at range and land his strike. We just watched him compete in Riyadh, I believe.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
I take.
But can I add something to it though too,
Go ahead.
Kamar? There's a flaw with him, bro. And I saw like him coming for him being Russian and whatnot and not having a little bit of that grappling. Like right now, like I feel like this is a setup against this southpaw. You know, is he very well rounded? Like that's the biggest question that I have. Am I a fan of his look? Yeah, apparently he's into some movies. He reminds me of Lee Schneider from all those movies with Adam Sandler. But is he really well rounded, man? Because you know sometimes there are guys that are really good here, and then once you take them to that B side.